Welcome to Fundamentals 2. This is Workout with Equipment B. So this is a basic strength workout. We're going to do 4 exercises all together. The equipment that you're going to need will be 1 to 2 pairs of dumbbells, an appropriate pair of dumbbells for kneeling shoulder press. So a kneeling shoulder press will be holding the dumbbells, pressing up over your head in this position. And then as well another pair of dumbbells for walking lunges. So holding the dumbbells at your side and doing good control walking lunges. Your weights may be the same for those 2 type of movements. If you're limited to the equipment that you have, then go ahead and just use the same weight. Typically, people are going to be stronger in your lower body than you are in your upper body. The shoulder press is going to be quite challenging. So play around with that, but do what you can with the weights that you have. And if you need to modify the reps in order to do this workout at home, that's fine. One caveat, overhead pressing is a little bit more challenging through the shoulders. So if you have any shoulder injuries, please listen to your body. You may find that you want to change this up to a horizontal press. So a press where you're in this type of position is typically friendlier on the shoulders if you have an existing shoulder injury. If you don't, it should be fine. Just make sure you're using the appropriate weight and not overloading. The other equipment that you're going to need is a stability ball. Second series of exercises is going to be a single leg hamstring curl, and then you're either needing a pull-up bar or a lat pull down. So today I'm going to show you this workout with a with a pull-up bar. And the assumption is that maybe you can't quite do pull-ups, so I'm going to show you a couple of tricks that you can do, hopefully, to work up to your pull-up ability. So, assumption is you've done your dynamic warm-up, so you're nice and warm. If not, I want you to press pause right now and go to Fundamentals 2, dynamic warm-up, active warm-up, or the Fundamentals 1 active warm-up. Make sure you're nice and warm before you get started. But let's assume that you've done that, and we're going to get going right into our walking lunges. So what I want you to do is you're going to pick up the appropriate weight. If you want to do a warm-up set with a lighter weight, if you're not sure what you should be doing, I recommend starting light, and then you can always progress. Make sure you're picking up the weights with good form, pushing through your legs. Now, because of the camera and spacing, I'm going to just do a few steps one way and then flip around the other way. So we're going to take a nice step, loading through the heel, dropping down as low as I can, thinking about pulling through that front leg. I'm going to do 4 repetitions each way before I turn around, and hopefully all this gets in through the camera. You're going as low as you can. The trick is when you turn around to remember which leg you finished off with. So we're going to go back and forth doing 4 repetitions. 3. So I'm ending up leading with my left. I'm going to turn around and lead once again with the right. As you're doing walking lunges again, you're thinking about the knee placement of that front knee. You'll notice my knee is not driving beyond my front toe. My back stays nice and high. So our chest stays tall. Back nice and flat. Hips are square. And so we're going back and forth. One more time. We're doing 20 to 24 reps. And hopefully, like I said, I'm getting this all into the camera. Next set, I'll do this facing you, so you get a chance to see what my knee looks like from the front, not collapsing in. So again, you're counting 20 to 24 repetitions. Making sure when you do the turnaround, you're switching the leg. Should be the last one right there. And right now, if you've chosen the right weight, your legs should feel like they've worked pretty hard. You might be a little bit short of breath than I am. Okay, so moving on to our shoulder press. With this movement, listen to your shoulders. Do what feels comfortable. I'm going to do it from a kneeling position. In the kneeling position, you're going to make sure your glutes are nicely squeezed, taking a nice base support and core activated. So I'm going to bring my weights up. This is going to be my start position. And as I press up over top of my head, the hands are going to rotate forward. Try to make sure that the pathway of the weights is kind of right in line with your head. If you're finding that your range of motion is pushing you so that the weights end up in front of the head, you need to work on your shoulder mobility. A, so you don't get an injury. B, these so that you can be stronger in this position. If you're pushing against tight muscles, then it's going to be a lot harder because you're not only resisting the weight, but you're also resisting the resistance of your tight muscles. And we're aiming for, again, 10 to 15 repetitions. If you want more strength, you're staying in the 6 to 10 or 6 to 8 range, making sure, last one there for me, making sure that you've worked up to that ability. You have to always prepare your body to handle the heavier loads and the lighter and the lower reps. So we're just going to superset back and forth between those. This time, like I promised, I'm going to do the walking lunges towards you so you can see what my knee looks like. So from the front, is my knee does not flaps inwards. It tracks forward straight over top of my middle toe, I guess, as I'm coming through. The other thing I want you to watch on my form as I come forward, my hips are square. So a big issue that we see when people are lunging is that their bottom hip drops instead of staying nice and level. So watch for that on me, and then watch for that on yourself. Ideally, get somebody to coach you, take a look at your form, or do this in front of the mirror. So, here we go. How low do you go? As low as you possibly can. This will be a funny angle. I'm going to be going straight into the camera. So I finish off with my left, leave with my right. You go as low range as you possibly can, maintaining good form. So the question becomes, should I do a heavier weight and less range? No, I'd way rather do slightly lighter weight, aiming for as deep, full range as possible, being able to comfortably do your movement in a deep range before you move on to the heavier load. That's 3. We've got down that one more time. There's nothing wrong, of course, with these walking lunges if you don't go back and forth like I am. I'm just assuming that most people are going to be space limited, and you might not even have to take the space that I do. So on the very last set, I'll show you what you can do if you don't have room to do walking lunges. And here's my last one. That'll be 24 repetitions. Knee tracking, nice and slow and control, loading through the heel when I plant. Okay, making sure when I put the weights down, I do it with proper form, my back stays flat, and I'm going to move on to my shoulder press, doing a slightly different angle, so you can see what I look like from the side. So, it should be neutral spine. As I get tired, I don't want to arch into my back. I want to stay nice and neutral. Squeezing through my glutes to give me good basic support. Now, what I've done here is I've chosen weights that are a good challenge for me, and I'm also trying to demonstrate to a lot of women out there that if you're lifting heavy and you're becoming strong, if you consider what I'm doing heavy, you're not going to bulk up necessarily. Few of us have the genetic potential to become big. So unless you've been earmarked at a young age, and you probably already know because you've been maybe asked to join a certain type of athletic program where the bigger, stronger look is actually an asset, you're probably not going to bulk up. Chances are very slim. One more for me. Oh! And there we go. Okay, one more round. So, even if you're doing some of the advanced workouts, there's nothing wrong with coming back to some of these fundamental movements. I'll do these from the side this time. Or sorry, these fundamentals to workouts. Because you can show you a modification you didn't have room. So let's say that you don't have room. That was 12 reps. You can do alternating back lunges. So I'll do 4 of these aside, or you can do alternating front lunges. Both work the body slightly differently. I actually, oops, that's alternating, should be. I actually find front lunges are a little bit trickier, just with your weight distribution forward and back. There you go, see there's my balance edge there. One more on each side. Last one. Good. So 24 reps total, whatever variation that you want. Legs should be pretty fatigued. Sometimes I find with people, their legs are so strong that the limiting factor is you holding the weight. Your hands get pretty tired. So if that's the case with you, then ultimately what you'll need to do, and I will incorporate these workouts into our workouts at some point in the future, you need to maybe think about doing good old back squats or front squats with a barbell across your chest. Then you're not having to necessarily hold, and your forearms don't become a limiting factor. Okay, shoulder press. Here we go. Exhaling up. Nice inhale down. Aiming for as much of a range as you can. Half of the weight is directly in line with the head. Glutes are squeezed to give you a good base of support. Oh, my left shoulder. It's getting tired. 3 more repetitions. Hopefully I have enough strength left for my pull-ups or my chin-ups. Last one. There we go. Okay, a little bit harder in that full range. So we're done with the weights, and we're going to go over. I'm going to bring your camera a little bit more forward, hopefully, so we can get everything in here so we can see a little bit better. Okay, so on to our next superset. So we're going to be doing single leg hamstring curls and pull-ups on the chin-up bar. And I'm going to show you how to use these bands, which you can get at a place like Fitness Depot, to encourage your body to get that elusive chin-up or pull-up, in this case, which we're doing today. So single leg hamstring curls, what you're going to do. Oh, by the way, one thing that I'm not showing in these workouts, but please make sure you're drinking lots of water. When I switched my camera there, I drank some water. It's really important to stay hydrated through these workouts, especially if you're choosing weights that are quite challenging for you. So feet are going to go up on top of that ball. You want to go from mid-calf to heel on the ball. Core is going to be set before you lift off. And then from here, I want you to lift one leg off the ground, off the ball, and I want you to bring it into a little bit of a tuck position. And what we're doing here is we're aiming for single leg hamstring curls. So one of the biggest mistakes I see in this movement is people do this. Their bum is barely off the ground. Really make sure that you're keeping your hips lifted up as high as you can. You want to hit high in that hamstring. Yes, you will feel it kind of in the calf area. That's okay, but you really need to boost those hips up so that you're feeling the mid to high hamstring. We're aiming for 12 repetitions. The other thing that people do is they brush them. Slower is a little bit more challenging. Again, core set before I lift. Opposite leg into a bend position. And 2 count in, 2 count out. Wide bend versus straight. You can do straight if you want. I just want to rest the hip flexor and not have hamstring flexibility on the opposite side of the knee. So in, keeping those hips nice and boosted, and slow extension out. I haven't done these in a while. These are tricky. Especially when you do them nice and slow on that extension. So if you're finding that these are too challenging, what you can do is you can maybe do 3 in a row, take a little break, boost up, and do another 3, and maybe your full set is maybe say 10 or so reps. Got one more here. Or your option, let's say that you try that movement and it's just way too difficult, but the double leg hamstring is is you can start off by doing what I call can-cans. So that's just an alternating leg lift. So your body's getting used to that idea of bridging those hips up. So that alternating can-can is your option if you found the single leg hamstring curls too tricky. Okay, so let me show you different thicknesses of band here are going to take more of your body weight. What I'm showing you here, I'm going to be kind of using the bench and standing off the bench. Make sure if you're doing this, and this is the approximate height of your bar, you've got a really stable bench. Ideally, you're doing it with somebody around because you've got to wipe off the bench or fall off, or you're doing it on ideally a lower setup, so you don't have to worry about falling down or being elevated. So first, let me show you how, if you're not familiar with, how to put these on. So with our beginning clients, what we'll often do is we'll have 1 to 2 bands, two bands doubled up because they need that extra assistance. But let's say I know that I can just use this one thick green band. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it, I'm going to loop part of it over top of the bar, and then I'm going to make a little loop right here, and I'm going to feed the elastics through that loop. So we're going to do pull-ups today, which means that your hands are going to be facing forward. First step I'm going to be doing my back facing you, and then I'll switch it around so I can talk. What I want you to pay attention to is my shoulders. They're going to stay set in that down back position. They're not hiking up by my ears. To get into this, to give you assistance, this is actually going to take some of your weight. What you do, again, make sure the bench is nice and stable. You're going to bring the elastic down, take some strength to bring the elastic down, and then drive your knee downwards. Very important when you do this, the knees pointing down. If I let the elastic jerk me up here, it's not going to add any assistance to me. So you want to think about your knees basically stacking one beside the other. The one leg is just bent. Hands a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. I'm slowly going to lower into that elastic and get a sense of how that elastic will take some of my body weight. I'm going to set my shoulders. So there's unset, there's setting my shoulders, and I'm going to do some pull-ups. Now, this is in the best case scenario. Some of you are going to find that no matter, even if you have this thick green band assisting you, it's still too difficult. You can't do those pull-ups. So what you can do, you keep your knee in position, you have your foot on the ground or on the bench, and you do a tiny little jump, and then do negatives, slowly lower down. The trick is to do that jump fairly, I guess with control you call it, so that you're not swinging up and down, or you're not swinging too much. The swing is what you want to try to prevent. Setting your shoulders down and back, I'm going to do one more. So that's how you can do an assisted pull-up using a tube. Let's say you don't have a tube. I'll just show this one to the side. And if you don't have the tube, then what you can do without the tube, again, you can jump up and then slowly lower down. Make sure you know where the bench is underneath you so you don't miss out, and again, white out if you don't want that. Okay, so I've done my fair share of pull-ups. Now we're going to go back to those hamstring curls. I'll go through it a little bit quicker, but I just want to give you all the options. Of course, if you're on a lat pull down machine, you're selecting the weight that's appropriate for you. If I was to say the pull machine was here, I just want a very slight lean back. I hold on to the grip nice and wide, set the shoulders down and back, and then I'm doing my pull. What weight do you choose? You have to play around with it and find what weight is going to challenge you for somewhere between 10 and 15 repetitions. The closer you get to being able to do a pull-up, if say you want to have, you're working on a lat pull-down machine, but ultimately you want to be able to do a real pull-up like that, work yourself up so that you are no longer in the 10 to 15 range, but you're in more the 6 to 8 rep range, and you're really loading as heavy as you can. Keywords, work up to it. It might take about 6 to 8 weeks before you're ready for that 6 to 8 rep range. Because what we're doing there is we're loading heavier weight, greater risk for injury if you haven't worked up to that load. Okay, same leg hamstring curls. Maybe you can remember, start on the opposite leg. So this time I'm going to have my right leg on the ball first. And we've got our single leg hamstring curls. Option here is that can. I'll just do a quick cut,
couple of repetitions of that can-can. If you find you cannot yet do that single leg hamstring curl, hips bridged up as high as you possibly can, and we're going for 12 to 15 reps. And 4 more, I think. 1, core stays tight. 2, make sure your shoulders are rolled forward, shoulders are open and back, and switch over to the other side. Core set, there's the hips, lifting up. 2, 3, 4, nice and control. 5, 6, 7, depending on whether you're doing 12 or 15, you're almost done. I've got 4 more repetitions. Shoulders stay back, core and tight. Doing the can-can option if you find this too difficult, if you find your hips are really dropping. I'd way rather have you do the can-can option with high hip lift rather than doing a single leg hamstring curl with your bum dragging on the ground. So I'm just going to move this back a little bit so you can see what it looks like from the front. Again, pull up, hands are forward, chin up, hands are this way, slightly works different muscle groups. Okay, so I'm going to try to remember how I'm doing it with this, to put my opposite knee in. So this time, my right knee goes down, hands are on the bar, drive the knee straight down. The knee with the elastic is pointing straight down to the ground, set the shoulders down and back, let the elastic take my weight, and I'm doing my pull-ups. Options here, I'll do my first 6 with the elastic. I'll do my second 6 for those of you who don't have the elastic to do the eccentric, the jump up in eccentrics. So hopefully this still gets into the camera. So I can jump off of 2 feet and I slowly lower down. Again, adjusting that bench if necessary. My bench isn't in the perfect position, but I'm okay. With this one caveat, go only to the point where you've still got a slight bend in your elbow. There is a bit of an injury risk if, for example, I go all the way down and hang. If you do pull-ups all the time, that's not going to be an injury risk. But if you're not used to doing pull-ups, you may have to just shorten the range just a little bit. So end up with just a slight bend in the elbow. 1 more rep. Shoulders set down and back. I'm trying to make sure, I'm going to do 1 more for you guys. You're going to try to make sure that when you do those jumps, you're not jumping up into this position, you're jumping up into this position. So what it would look like is jump up, shoulders set versus here. So shoulders are set and slowly down. Okay, 1 more set. Hopefully I'm getting all this on camera. Lots of cueing necessary for these. Once you've done these a few times and you know the cues, you can skip over parts or fast forward parts if you want. Last set. Here we go. And curling in and out. A little bit slower on the eccentric or the extension phase of this exercise. And we've got 12 to 15 repetitions. Very good. Keep it going. 1 more set to go. And switch over to the other side. Bridge the hips up, core set. In and out. To remember to make sure that the knee of the working leg stays in line with the hip. Shoulders stay open. Core is engaged. Keep drawing that belly button in nice and tight. 4 more. 1, 2, last one. 3, sorry, last 2, last one. And there's our last set of hamstring curls. And finally, we'll go into our last set of pull-ups, or if you're doing a lat pull down, you're over on the lat pull down machine. Remember, when you pull down the elastic, knee drives straight down. Make sure it's secure on that knee. Hands wide, so we're doing a pull-up. If you can, you can manage with the elastic taking your entire body weight. You're relaxing down into the elastic, shoulders set down and back as you do the pull-ups. I'm going to do my full series of pull-ups, this time with the elastic. Remember, you've got a couple of modifications. If you don't have the elastic, you can do the jump up and slowly lower. You do your lat pull down on the machine. You can get more than one elastic if necessary. You can, if necessary, do the jump up with the elastic if you need to. So lots of variations to get you strong enough to do a pull-up. Last one right here. And we are done. So that completes Fundamentals 2, Workout with Equipment B, Full Body B, I should say. And please make sure that you go ahead and get back onto the website, do some upper body